Hi everyone. Today I'm going to share my survival skills that I've learned over being chronically homeless for the last 25 years. These are 5 essential survival skills that you will need to know in order to survive in the urban environment, whether it be new to being homeless or whether it be going through SHTF. And one of the most important things to consider is that the environment that we live in today is getting very, very crazy. We have civil unrest, we have wars, rumors of wars, we've got rumors of civil wars and civil unrest, we've got supply chain issues, economic issues. There are so many different things that are pounding at the foundation of the Western society that is all about to come collapsing, one way or another. It's just a matter of which one is it. Is it going to be an economic collapse? Is it going to be a war? Is it going to be civil war? Is it going to be a dissolution of the government? But in all of these situations, you will need to know these 5 survival skills. So let's go ahead and get into the first one. The first one is to be aware of your environment, to be aware of the situation, to be aware of what's going on. Sometimes, especially when you're homeless, you don't really get a chance to keep an eye on national news and stuff like that, or even on the local news, or even know what the current events are. But there are other ways to be able to tell, and that is to be able to watch society, see how society is reacting. Is society getting more aggressive or less aggressive? Are they becoming kinder or meaner? The more stress, the more pressure, the less trust, the less hope and opportunity that society has, the more angry society gets. It's proven that when there's an economic downturn, that the crime goes up because it's part of what the misery index is. So you could be aware of what's going on because in let's say in Orlando, they've got buildings burning, but here it might be a protest or two, and you're going to act different around a situation where the buildings are burning versus just a couple of protests. So being aware of your situation, being able to blend in is extremely important. It is something that you can learn if you really want to learn how to do this on your own, and this isn't going to cost you any money, but change the way you dress. Go into a different part of town, go into an upper class part of town, and then go into a lower class part of town, and just be able to blend in and to be able to be looked at as one of the locals, so that you could, a lot of things that people don't understand is you've got certain parts of this country, especially like back in the day, it used to be East Dallas. If you were white and you were walking through East Dallas, you were lucky to get alive. But if you walk through and you look like a bum, and you look like one of the locals that kind of lives in that area because you act a certain way, you're walking a certain way and doing things in a certain way, to where it no longer raises red flags because they don't see differences in your behavior or in your body language. And so that's why, like me, if I wanted to walk through East Dallas, I could, because I'm able to blend in because I look like I'm part of them anyways. Now, they may think it's a little strange that the white boy's walking through there, but I'll be a lot safer than you, who's never been through there, and you're walking around and you're giving off all kinds of body language that you're afraid, or that you're alert, or that you are worried for your safety in some way or reason. And when you start giving off those vibes, it starts putting it out to those that are around that are able to be susceptible to it. So this is why it's important on being situational aware and being able to go out there and practice on blending into different parts of society. Now, I know I talked about situational awareness, but Gray Man is a little bit different. Gray Man is your ability, especially like if you're traveling, this is probably one of the most important things that you can do. It takes a lot of situational awareness, and it takes a lot of knowing culture and things like that. But here's some things that will help you understand kind of where you're going, what you're doing, and stuff like that. So I'm able to blend in, and unless I tell somebody I'm homeless, most of the time nobody knows that I'm homeless, because I don't look like I'm wore down. I don't look like I've been in the drug world. I don't look like I got all that stuff going on. No, I look like I'm a traveler. And because I hang out on or near trails, people automatically assume that I'm a hiker, which therefore it allows me to blend in. Now, am I a hiker? Yes and no, but technically, even though I'm a nomad, I'm a traveler, I'm still considered homeless. And so therefore, if they knew that, people would treat me differently than if they knew that I was just a hiker on a trail, just doing a section hike or whatever. Now, once people get to talk to you, get to know you, then you can kind of share things. But, you also need to pay attention to their body language, to their to the way that they speak and the words that they use, because it's going to tell you a lot. One of the big things I always like to tell people, and this is going to help you blend in a lot and kind of like take on the whole gray man persona, is if I walk up to somebody and you could get them, if you know what you're doing, you kind of do something to where you say thank you, or you ask them a question or something like that, you say thank you. What their response is going to tell you a lot about who they are as a person. So if somebody says no problem, then they are most likely conservative leaning, which means that that's a specific ideology, which means that you need to talk a specific way, talk a certain way, and blend in a certain way. But if they say no worries, then they are most likely left leaning. Now, to what extreme, we don't know. You're going to ask a lot of other questions and listen to key words in which they're saying. Okay, so this is going to allow you to basically become a chameleon instantly when you are going into an area which you don't know. So this is really the true skill of what the gray man can do, and what makes the gray man so valuable is your ability to easily and quickly adapt to where they maybe the first person may know that you're not necessarily a local, but you blend in enough to where they're like, okay, this person's been through here a couple of times. But by the time you're talking to your second and third and fourth person, they should think that you're a local, or that you're a regional person, that you just coming through town. Okay, so therefore it makes it easier for you to be able to function and to be able to move about the country with little to no contention or negative interaction. Okay, and this is the benefit of learning how to be a gray man. Number 2 is stealth camping. Stealth camping is extremely it's probably one of the most important things that you're going to have to do, whether it be SHTF or being homeless. Why? Because in a lot of ways, the politicians are criminalizing homelessness so that they can rally their base and get their donors to give them money and all this other stuff. Okay, but not only that, when the world goes to hell, when SHTF is happening, you are also you're still going to have to face the same hostilities. So let me kind of show you a little bit of how I'm doing it, because I am in a stealth camping situation. So let me show you real quick. Okay, so I have the road right there. There's also a rail trail right there. Now, technically, any trail, if you are a traveler and you're on a trail, you can technically sleep on the trail. But a lot of places, a lot of police don't know that, and so therefore they're going to harass you. Okay. But also look, because of the storm, some bushes and some branches came down to kind of make that foliage thick. And if you see, I have my tent far enough back so that angle right there is able to not be seen. So the thing is, there's only one way to be able to get into my camp because of a tree blockage, which is right about there, and then a little bit further down there's another entrance. But if you look right here, also I am using, you see that downed tree behind me, that's a downed branch from this big old oak tree up here. Okay, so when you're mastering stealth camping, okay, when you're mastering stealth camping, what it is, it's about visibility. You can be right on top of somebody. So think of it like this: when snipers, when they go through training, they have to be able to get within like 100 feet of you and be able to pop off a shot, and to still remain hidden, and then to be able to pop off a shot again. Okay, so taking that same ideology, taking that same theology, is you have to take the same approach. These guys are highly trained. They spend a lot of time going out there having people look for them. Well, you know what? When you're homeless, you get everyday training in the first place. During SHTF, you're going to get everyday training in the first place. But it's a really good thing to go out and to take a moment to learn this skill, and to be able to be right on top of things, but be able to burrow yourself into a bush to where you can actually survive. Okay, because the thing is, people, there are like the locals, the homeless that go up and down, they know I'm here. Okay, because they are the ones that are always going through and looking through the bush, but I always make sure that my presence is known. My dog is by my side, and I have enough warning because I get to see what's going on to where I can have my knife out, my dog by my side, and be right there as they come in, which is like if you see where Sam is right now, okay? If you see where she is, she's watching the entrance, okay? If somebody comes in through that entrance, I'm gonna move over there, she's gonna move over there, and we're gonna stand and be like, no, this is my camp. Okay, so there's a basic rule, especially urban homelessness, is that, you know, you stay so far away from a other person's camp. You don't camp on top of somebody. You want to disperse, because when you start congregating and creating large groups, that's when the camps start getting dispersed. So you need to be able to spread out and thin out and stuff like that. So a lot of the new hobos, they don't understand this, but a lot of the old school guys like me, we know this because this is how we survived for years. You don't camp on top of each other. You spread out and you hunker into bushes, because if one of you gets found, at least the others around the area that are paying attention will have some sort of warning so that they can get away or get packed up or drop their tent or whatever it is that they got to do so that they can, you know, be alert. And so that's part of it as well. And so you want to be paying attention to what's going on around you. And if you happen to be the guy that gets caught up, sucks to be you, but that's just the way things happen. Number 4 is you're going to have to really understand logistics and navigation. Whether you're doing what I like to do, which is order my food through Amazon and have it dropped at either a general delivery, or unless I know of a homeless shelter that I can get deliveries at, I'll have it delivered there. That's I prefer that over the general delivery, just because of time, and general delivery sometimes will give you a hassle if you don't call them ahead in advance. And sometimes you don't know when you're coming in. You think you're going to be there in 10 days and you don't show up for 2 weeks. Sometimes you think you're going to be there in 10 days and you show up in 6. Okay, so, you know, being able to understand like your distance, how much distance you're making a day, being able to log your distance, even if you're you know, doing it in your head, especially if you're traveling. Okay, and then also, like, if you're doing this in an urban environment, you know, your logistics is important because you want to kind of schedule your day around a routine. So in the morning, I'm over on this side of town, I grab my breakfast, I grab my resupply, then I go to another part of town where I can go get some work done, because once I'm done getting some work done, then at that same part of town is another feed line, and then, you know, so on and so forth. But also, if you're looking at purchasing or carrying your own food, you know, weight is important, and knowing what it is that you like to eat and stuff like that. Some of the biggest problems that I have with my resupply, especially, which is part of my logistics, is, you know, sometimes I buy stuff and you buy it in bulk because it's cheaper. But the thing is can you eat potato soup every day for 30 days? And then can you eat it again for another 30 days? Can you eat potato soup every day? No. So finding variety in your diet and knowing exactly what it is that you like and that you can do, and then being able to figure out how to handle it, make it last for 30 days, things like that. This is important, okay? Because whether you're staying urban or whether you're traveling, whether you're homeless or whether it's SHTF, regardless of what the situation is, being able to streamline your travel, your transportation, your daily tasks is extremely important, because it will make you more efficient. It will give you more minutes in the day. It will give you more time to get more productive things done. Okay, if you're staying local and if you're staying urban. But if you are, you know, traveling and stuff like that, it's even more important, because you need to know where your water supply points are. That's why apps like Far Out or Hiker or things like that, there's even biker apps that you can get if you're going to do a lot of road walks and stuff, that will tell you, like, you can go along the different trails. That's why they're there. They're there for entertainment, but you can use them for travel. And if you are doing your logistics and your navigation properly, you will learn where the useless ups and downs are. Get off trail, take a road, because roads have less incline. You're going to make more distance. It's going to be less wear and tear on your body. And then you're going to hop back on the trail once you get past the useless ups and downs, and then keep going. Because I mean, you're going to go up and down regardless, especially the further north you get, and whether you're either in the Rockies, the Cascades, or the Appalachian mountain range, you're always going to be dealing with some sort of incline and decline. What it is you don't want to be just going straight up and straight down, straight up and straight down, because it's a waste of energy. That's the entertainment part of the trail. That's why you want to make sure that you get off and keep moving. So whether you're on a rail trail, a bike trail, a hiking trail, or you're riding rails, you know, these are things to consider and to think about when you are dealing with whether it be SHTF or homelessness. So as number 5 comes about, so this is the last one, I'm gonna ask you guys a quick question though. If you guys think that I've missed anything, or if you think that there's something else that's a little bit more important than the things that I've listed, I'd love to know down in the comments what you guys think and what I should have added. I might even do another video going more in depth on it, either talking for or against it, so on and so forth. But number 5 is barter and negotiation. Being able to trade, being able to barter and do things like that are extremely important. See, the one thing about us versus our ancestors had a greater command of language than we do. Okay, that's why when you listen to some of the stuff from a lot of the older writings and the older movies and the older stuff, it's considered, compared to today, because we're so dumbed down, it's considered dense writing, dense material, because you don't have a lot of ink, you don't have a lot of stuff, so you've got to be able to condense something large into something small and still, you know, like have it fit into a book. And so not having a command of your language, not understanding language, is going to be a hindrance to you in a lot of different ways. Because when it comes time to do negotiating, when it comes time to barter, you're gonna have to basically get your own degree in law. Because you're gonna have to understand that, okay, I'm making a deal with this person. How do I lock this down to where I make sure I get what they want, and then that means I can give them what they want? Because sometimes you got people that will use the letter of the contract against you, and if you're not paying attention, if you don't come from an area of paranoia, of like, okay, they could screw me this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, so how do I lock it down in my agreement? Okay, and so when you're negotiating with people, whether it be doing work or whether it be staying on their land or whether it be getting goods and services and things like this, understanding not only your language but also understanding how to be able to use your language to negotiate a contract that is not only fair but strict, so that it makes sure and ensures that you get what you need. And this is really where the art of negotiation comes in, the art of the deal, as Donald Trump's book says. And the art of the deal is really understanding how to be able to find common ground. You know, I'll tell you a story real quick. So I was doing some consulting work, some legal work for somebody. I was basically writing letters for people so that I could streamline their legal process, so that they didn't need a lawyer. Okay, and so this one guy, his mom died, sister's trying to do some stuff, and so he's like, help me, I don't want her to completely liquidate the estate and run off because she's got a drug addiction, so on and so forth. So, you know, I stepped in, and what I did is I was able to use language. First of all, I used language in the harsh way to kind of get her to wake up and say, hey, look, these are the possible criminal consequences that we are prepared to move on and to make, you know, to file formal charges on if you want to continue down this road. We would rather have you sit down and let's have a nice little conversation. Once they were able to sit down and have a conversation, he comes to me with some more issues. And so therefore I wrote out an outline and kind of helped him understand where it is that he could have compromise, because the thing is it's got to be fair for all parties, not just one. And that's the difference between me and, let's say, a lawyer, because I'm not a lawyer. The difference between me and them is I'm not really there to represent you or another party. I'm there to bring harmony and to find compromise that is fair and just for everybody involved, because the thing is that's going to be how you build your reputation, and that reputation that you build is going to help you when it comes time to bartering, especially if you got a big ticket item and you need it on credit or something like that. So these are some things for you to really think about if you are preparing for SHTF, if you are preparing for all hell to break loose, or if you just want to know how to survive homelessness and to be able to survive it well without being, you know, having to look over your shoulder all the time, or hear some of the, you know, be statistics of some of these horror stories that we hear happening out here in the homeless world. So